Hello, all you lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I am your demonic cinephile, Hanya. And I am finally got the chance to catch up with the first episode of Season 2 of Chucky. Now, I just want to give a little heads up that I am a big Child's Play fan, has been for a long time, far as I can remember. Seen all the movies several times. I can probably quote all of Chucky's dialogue from memory. That's no joke. There's probably a concerning issue there. And just like most fans, I checked out season 1 last year, and I was surprised. It was great. I had little hiccups that I could have been without, but for the most part, it was a great season. It went much better than I was expecting. Now we get to this season, and we pick off immediately after season 1 ended, with Andy driving the truck full of the newly awakened Chuckies out of town, and they supposedly crash and burn, but hey, horror movies, there's no dead body, they ain't dead. And we pick up with our kids 6 months later, and we see they're mostly doing okay, except for Lexi. Jake has a new family. The parents kind of suck, but he has this cool little younger brother that's probably a big Batman fan. I can't really tell. You got one cool Stranger reference, and the kids are getting back together to suspect to see what Chucky's planning, and a big twist, well, not really a twist, you probably can see it coming, that was Chucky's plan all along, to get them all back together so he can kill them in one quick swoop. The first interesting thing is the first thing that I really noticed that I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of was meta commentary. Well, not really meta commentary, meta joke about the Bride of Chucky. Because when the three kids get back together, they're like, "Who's that?" "Oh, that's the doll. It looks just like Tiffany. She looked like the Bride of Chucky. From the movie, The Bride of Chucky, starring Jennifer Tilly, who we now know is the Bride of Chucky." Okay, so in not Child's Play, but in Seed of Chucky, the 5th film, we are shown that they are making a movie in universe called Chucky Goes Psycho. And far as it had never been explained, that film was never finished because the dolls came back to life. Now, there's a cool and fun idea that when Tiffany became Jennifer Tilly, she just made all these movies about her and Chucky, which seems something Tiffany would kind of do. But it also goes back to saying from season 1, like, everyone's like, "Hey, that's a good guy doll." No, they should be saying, "Oh, that's a Chucky doll. That's Chucky." Like, it should be in universe that Chucky is this big franchise, and it's never brought up. I don't know, just like, it kind of broke the world a little bit with that dumb little joke. Again, that's probably just me nitpicking. Now, shortly after the intro, or I guess you would call it the middle of the episode, during a therapy session between Lexi, her mother, and Caroline is given a little wedding doll. And this doll is called Belle. Or is it Belle? Yeah, Belle. And it is supposedly the same type of doll that Tiffany owned, or the one she bought in Bride of Chucky. It became her doll body in that film, and she would later possess in the other franchise. And that she would later possess in the other films. But why would this random therapist have a doll? Well, not a doll, but this doll in particular. Now, Dom Mancini could just be pulling her leg everyone who wants to speculate, who is this doll? Is it Tiffany? Is it Tiffany? Like, okay, it's either A, the doll is not alive, or B, the doll is alive, because we see a similar shot to kind of like how Child's Play 1, where you see Caroline in bed with Chucky, or not Chucky, in bed with the Belle doll, and the camera kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, not pan, it kind of like zooms in on the doll's face, and is very similar to a shot in Child's Play 1. Also, you could see Caroline taking out the knife, looking at it. She's being friendly with the doll. Now, I do think, and here's my little theory, and I'm hoping I'm right on this, that the doll is alive, but it's not possessed by Tiffany or Chucky. I want to think it's probably possessed by Glinda. Most because I really want to see Glinda. I think they could be a very interesting force in the show. And I really want, because what we see from the trailers, we're not sure how Chucky is going to interact with Tiffany and his kids. And I always thought that Chucky and Glinda could have a very interesting dynamic. I think Chucky would prefer hanging out with Glinda before hanging out with Tiffany or Glenn. I can see them having a strong bond. I don't know. I just want to see those two get together. And for a little bit of Glinda's personality that we saw in Seed, I think she would probably do this to help their father. It also goes to the fact that when our trio gets sent to the school at the end of the episode, we have another Chucky doll being sent there. Now, we're not told how much time has passed between when the little brother died and they're getting sent to the school. So I'm just going to assume it was only days ago, a couple days, maybe a week or two. But you're going to think, how does Chucky know this? That's also why I kind of believe that maybe Glinda is there in the background helping their dad. I don't know. I hope. I want to see how those two interact. I want to see Glenn realize that their family is messed up again. Their mom is killing people again, and he's joined forces with our trio to take down their psycho parents. Another thing I hope they do clarify later on in the season is a little bit more how the whole multiple Chuckies work. I know Don Mancini never really cared for the the voodoo aspect of Chucky. It was not in his original script, but he stuck with it. He made it ridiculous, but he stuck with it. He's made it more ridiculous along the way, but he stuck with it. But when it came to the multiple Chuckies, even you go back to season 1, all of the Chuckies act differently. So whenever a Chucky comes back to life, or when he brings a new doll to life, he puts a part of his soul into that doll, they're kind of babyish for a minute, because they're technically born. They're kind of new. And you kind of see this in this episode when a couple of the Chuckies break out their boxes. They don't really know anything. They don't know who Tiffany is. They don't know who Andy is. It takes them a minute. But I kind of figure that. But we go back to the last episode of season 1. The Chucky that we... spoiler alert, but not... Hey, if you're watching this, you already seen season 1. But in the last episode of season 1, the Chucky that Jake kills at the end was not the original Chucky. from the start of the season. That Chucky was killed by Tiffany. But when Jake fought this Chucky, he knew everything. He knew everything about Jake all the time that, I guess, current prime Chucky knew about Jake. They knew about all their time together. So I do hope they kind of explain how this multiple Chuckies work. Is this some kind of hive mind? Does the real soul or the main soul just hover between all the dolls? Does it switch between the main dolls or something? I do hope they explain it a little bit. I know he just makes the voodoo more ridiculous, which it works in most part, but I just wanted to make a tiny bit more sense. Because we see Chucky take advantage of it in this episode, that he's willing to kill one of his bodies because he knows there's going to be more of him out there. And while I do love our little trio of characters here, I would say Devin and Jake seem more or less the same. They seem got a little bit over their tragedies, so to speak. But we see it hitting Lexi much harder. In the first season, you see her smoking weed and stuff, but you see her snorting pills and doing all the other drug-related activities. And I don't know where that's coming from, I guess. But we see her kind of lifestyle with her parents. Not really her mother. Her mother is. I want to see how she deals with that. Going to this Catholic school is going to help her get sober. Is Chucky or even Glinda going to take advantage of her drug dependency? And going back to the whole meta aspect of it, I think the commentary, the meta comedy is going a little bit too far, kind of like they did in Seed, where Chucky is explaining about how he uses Uber to get around. While funny, it's making Chucky a little bit too silly. And I think season 1 did a good job of blending the comedy aspects of Chucky and his scariness a bit better. As I hope they tone down the comedy just a little bit. I prefer Chucky when he's mostly scary. Like, I want us to get a little bit closer back to the tone Mancini had with Colt and Seed. I think those were good tones for Chucky. And that's my little quick thoughts breakdowns of Chucky Season 2 Episode 1. And, well, I am on the fence a tiny little bit. I am so excited for what's going to happen next. I cannot wait to see how this Catholic school is going to challenge our main characters. I cannot wait to see what happens with Tiffany, Nika, and the twins when they come into play, hopefully next episode. I hope more legendary characters get introduced. And I wonder if we're going to get a little bit more backstory on Chucky. Well, Season 1 gave us a great bit of origins for Charles Lee Ray. We never really got to know how he met his voodoo teacher. And I kind of hope that plays into it a little bit more. Once again, I know Don Mancini takes the voodoo aspects of Chucky more jokingly. He takes him, he's like silly, like, oh, it's a voodoo spell. Who is that? But I do hope it's explored just a bit more. That's my quick thoughts about Chucky Season 2 Episode 1. What did you think about it? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, please click that like button and subscribe. I will be talking about the rest of the series. I will be talking about the rest of the series. Hopefully earlier. I won't take this long next time. I'm Hanyo, you're a demonic cinephile. Have a good day.